Hi there, Dead Ideal Boy here, back with another video, and in this one we have got some serious action for you in the form of one of the worst revenge attacks I've seen for a long time, as well as some pretty awful stroke filthy stroke dirty driving towards the end. But in between all that there's some unbelievably good racing as well, so stay with me here. We're at Autopolis. It's a Group 4 cars. We're all in the Citroens apart from one person behind me. And if you have come back here from another video or you're here for the first time, then if you've not subscribed, then if you could do me the honour of hitting that subscribe button, it would help immensely as we're trying to achieve what feels like a massive target of 10,000 subscribers, and we're kind of getting there now, almost 8,500. It would be unbelievable if you could be one of the first 10,000. So think about hitting that subscribe button and let me know in the comments if you do. I also want to know in the comments what you think about the incidents in this race, and we're going to get to those as always in the replay section of this video at the end. But before that, we need to find out how we got there, and indeed that's what we're going to do. So we are in P9. We're all, as I said, in these Citroens, and we're coming up to the tight hairpin here. Everybody's a bit sort of unsteady, probably on the cold hard tyres at this point, but you can see in the radar there bottom right there was sounded like a bit of a coming together between cars, and coming together there was, because what you're going to see in 1 second's time, or just over 1 second's time, is that somebody's going to leave the lobby, and you can see there, yep, they have left the room. Now that is normally a surefire sign that something has gone down, and indeed something did go down. We're going to analyse that at the end, so stick with me on this one, please. So we've managed to maintain pace with the group in front. We're in P9. We're trying to move forward here. It's a pretty strong lobby here. Our qualifying time wasn't too shabby, but it was only good enough for 9th. And we've got some very, very, very quick drivers in front of us. A lot of A+ drivers in this lobby, almost a full lobby of them, and certainly most of the ones, in fact just about everybody ahead of me was as well. So we've got a bit of work to do here. This was one of our first races of the week, maybe our second race of the week, and we just started to find a little bit of pace, so trying to stay with the lead group was key. You can see here we are going to follow Luke in front of me into the pits, because I know he's quite a quick driver, so I thought to myself, well, if we can get a bit of clear air, if we can get a bit of clear track, and I can stay on his coattails, then we could go somewhere. You can see we're about 1.2, 1.3 seconds behind on the delta, so a bit of work to do, because we don't want to lose that very, very slight whiff of slipstream that we do have at the moment. And so, well, we're just going to need to try and find a bit of pace, even if we don't have a great deal of it at the moment. But this track isn't actually too bad for me. I actually really enjoy Autopolis. Let me know in the comments how you pronounce it. But anyway, we're going to try and find a bit of pace here. We normally do like it round here, and particularly like it in Group 2 cars around here. I find that there's quite a good flow to the race. There's only a couple of really good overtaking points as well, which kind of suits my style of driving, because I really hate tracks where there's a lot of opportunities for dive bomb manoeuvres. There's a couple on this track, but once you get past them, you can really put your car in difficult positions to get, for the person behind to get past. So it's really all about just consistently putting in the laps. So for me, pitting early, don't change tyres, we can get some consistent laps under our belt, and you can see we've actually managed to close the gap into Luke a little bit, so that was a good sign. That told me there was potentially some pace in us, but as always we have a bit of an issue when it comes to consistency, so we really need to just try and focus on that and really try and be more consistent. And it's easy enough to say that, one of the hardest things to do, but we'll try. We're always trying to improve, that's the main thing. And coming across the line, we've definitely closed the gap slightly. We're down now to, well, a second give or take, and that's a good sign here. But here's a bit of an issue. We've got the German coming out of the pits, and he's managed to put his car in between myself and Luke, so I didn't quite do enough to get the jump on him, and that's going to suit Luke because he's now got obviously a car between myself and him. However, we're going to come up, well, skipping forward to the end of lap 4, beginning of lap 5. You can see here, we got a really good exit there, and we're just going to put our car up the inside. And I was about to back out there, but the German sensed my nose just about sticking in there and backed out himself, which was very, very fair of him, if I do say so myself. And yeah, we were quite pleased that we managed to kind of hold our nerve a little bit and actually get the job done, although we did take a couple of tyres to the grass, which might have an influence later on the race, because you will see something that does happen. So maybe all is not quite as it seems there, with the German being so friendly towards me. However, we're approaching the end of lap 7, and you can see here we have caught right up to Luke, and he has, well, he's basically stuck behind this South African driver at the moment, who, unbeknownst to me at the time, hadn't actually made a pit stop, so wasn't really in the same race, but was fighting hard for track position. Now Luke makes a move up the inside and is going to get the job done, and we get unceremoniously just pushed, shoved, kind of rammed out of the way by the German, who, as I said earlier in the race, we had quite an aggressive overtake attempt, but no contact was made. I don't know if that was maybe festering and he just decided to send it, I don't know. However, we nearly lose 2 positions, and I try to fight it round the outside with these countrymen. However, it is German on German violence there. There's an absolute, well, it's just a missed braking point there, and he's shoved into his friend. Now, that meant we were able to only lose 1 position because we managed to slot in behind, and that kind of at least minimised the damage. I was pretty annoyed though that we had basically been pushed to pass out of the way at turn 1, and I decided I was just, well, I had the bit between my teeth. There was no way this guy was finishing ahead of me in this race. That was the primary thought that was going through my mind at this point. Now, easier said than done, because like I said, overtaking isn't the easiest on this track if you've got a kind of similar pace to the other drivers, because you really need to get a good run, especially going up the main straight, and that's, as I said, not the easiest thing to do. Luke is absolutely flying away now, because he's managed to avoid all of the kind of chaos that I got embroiled in, and is safely on his way to quite a healthy finish. We, though, still didn't realise that the South African hadn't pitted, and when we see him going into the pit, I just shook my head a little bit, because he was putting up such a fight when he wasn't really in the same race. But everybody's entitled to fight for track position, I guess. Now here we go, turn 1, we're going to think about getting the move done. We've got somebody right behind us, and we just about get the move done, because I kind of faked a lunge and then backed out, and it was enough to scare the German out of the way, and we managed to get the move done. Now, I was fully prepared for him to send it straight back on me here, so I was going a little bit defensive with my lines here. Driving style is now out of the window. It's all about just getting the car, getting it tight on the apex, and leave no room for anybody to come up the inside. You can see, if you look in the radar there, they're behind us, they're getting embroiled in a little bit of a battle themselves, as well as the fact there's a battle going on up ahead. So all is still really to play for, and we're in the final lap. We've managed to move up to P7, which is an improvement of 2 positions, but we have to defend now, because we know we're going to come under attack, and there's contact up ahead as well. So we're still not ruling out managing to get another maybe position or 2 out of this race, but primarily I just want to keep the guys behind at bay. And you can see, coming around the right-hander, we drift wide, and this is a scary moment as we go into a bit of a slide, but we somehow managed to hold it. We just need to try and stay as tight to the inside as we can. Don't leave a gap. Don't give them the incentive to even try a move, especially not in these final stages where it is basically all or nothing. But you can see from the radar, it's very close. We've got quite a few people waiting on us, making the slightest of mistakes. Now, we keep it really tight on the curb here, and we get on the power, and we know the job is done once we've got into that situation, and we can come across the line and take the P7. It was a really hard working P7, and I was actually really pleased about how we managed to get that job done. Now, here we're going to look at the person who rage quit, and this is the reason why they get the slightest of taps there. and they just lose. They just lose all cool completely here. They've only got eyes now on taking absolute revenge here, and look at that. Absolutely shocking scenes. I don't really understand what caused it. Well, I kind of do, because this guy gets a little bit more like a lag punt, but this contact is so minimal, and then tries to take him out there, kind of fails. This guy here, who probably caused it, is actually just managing to sail up the inside of both of them, and if you look in his rear view mirror, he just watches as the carnage unfolds, and both of those drivers take themselves or end up out of the race. As I said, this was the most minimal of contacts, and I just don't really understand how it ended up escalating to that point as quickly, unless there was previous from another race. I don't know. That could maybe explain it, because the ultimate reaction to end your own race as well as ruin somebody else's is quite drastic. Now here we go into the last lap, and you can see that was for P3, and the Italian in P4 just absolutely sends it, rams him out of the way. But if you look here, this is the move getting done on me as I get pushed out of the way at turn 1 and almost lose 2 positions because of it. I was looking at it from one car back because you get a better view of it from there. This was the following lap where I decide I'm going to fake the lunge, and it works out perfectly. As you see, we get up the inside really, really nicely there and get the position back. So that was one I was actually quite proud of. But if you can see here, I just want to prove before anybody in the comments says I've punted him, no contact, just a fake. And sometimes that is the best way to do it. The old, well, not the switcheroo, but it is a bit of a fake to create that opportunity. But that was that. That was Daily Race C this week. Let me know how you've been getting on with it. It's got a tuning element to it again. What are we thinking about tuning? What are we thinking about some of the, well, revenge acts, dirty driving, and just overall driving standards out there? Is it better or worse at your level than what you've just seen, which is mostly A+ here? I'd be very, very interested to find out. And if you're new to the channel, if you haven't already subscribed, then hit that subscribe button. It would make a huge difference to this channel in particular. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. Goodbye.